Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles, where today we're going to be watching Oppi Geek here, or just Geek for short, in a tank that you really don't see an awful lot of anymore. This is the German Tier 5 medium tank, the Panzer 3/4, which is a kind of a weird Franken tank combination of elements of the Panzer 3 and the Panzer 4, as the name would suggest, along with a whole bunch of sloped armour that looks kind of like it would be more at home on the Panther. He's taken part in a Tier 6 assault mode battle here on the Siegfried Line map. So assault mode, 10 minutes, maximum battle length. He's on the defending team, which means that in order to win, his team need to either destroy all of the attacking enemy tanks or simply prevent them from capping once that 10-minute timer expires. If there are tanks left alive on both teams at the end of 10 minutes, it's not a draw, it's a win to the defending team. Which means that in assault mode, if you're on the attacking team, you have to hustle, you have to be aggressive, and hope that the rest of your team backs you up. Oh yeah, Geek's taken a lot of return fire there, but no damage, because one of the features of the Panzer 3/4 is it's actually reasonably well armoured. Not that the armour is any thicker physically than any other Tier 5 medium, but it's, at least from the front, very well sloped. But probably the best feature of this tank, unlike the M41 there, is that when you do get spotted and have to back out quickly, this tank can do it, because it is extremely fast and agile. Now that withering barrage of incoming fire that greeted anybody who tried to take on, like the Su-76G there, who I do believe just tried to kill the VK3001D by ramming him, which results in the enemy team winning at the dizzying rate of 4 kills to nothing before Geek's team managed to pull their first kill back, tells us that that opposite ridge on the other side of the hill here is commanded by a lot of enemy guns that the VK was very successfully spotting for. Very aggressive, perhaps too aggressive a move there from the VK3001D, although despite the fact that he's the enemy team's first casualty, I think he's probably going to end up doing quite well out of this battle due to all of the spot and damage that he got. The battle's going pretty hard on this flank, with an enemy T-3485M taken over from the VK3001D. And despite the fact that he had the side of the enemy tank to shoot out there, this is just a Tier 5 medium tank with your standard Tier 5 medium tank 76mm gun. The gun's probably the weakest feature on this tank. I mean, it isn't bad, it's just really no better or worse than any other Tier 5 medium tank gun. They all tend to do around about 110 average damage, have a decent rate of fire, but have horrible accuracy and aiming time, and that's true of this thing as well. 2.3 second aiming time, and depending on the gun, either 0.41 or 0.39 accuracy, neither of which are good. The Oni 3 tank destroyer over there definitely has a better gun, but it's not just him that Geek needs to worry about. Although, I have to admit, I mean, he's got him, but look at the barrage of incoming fire. And there's definitely enemy artillery over there paying attention to what is being spotted on the reverse slope of this ridge. The team have at least pulled back a couple of kills, though, but they're still in an extremely precarious position. They're continuing to lose tanks. They're losing 5 to 10. 2/3 of the team are dead. The opposite flank has completely collapsed. They've just lost another tank, and the enemy team are in the cap circle. And at the current rate of capture progress, the enemy team are going to win in 1 minute. So naturally, this is the point where the enemy team decides, screw that, kill everything, and abandon their capture progress. Now, to be completely fair to the enemy team here, at the point where that, because it was only one enemy tank who was actually in the cap circle, but at the point where they stopped trying to cap, and they all decided we're going to go and ruffle stomp the remainder of Geek's team, they did have a 6-kill advantage. And despite that brief rally there from Geek's team, where they cleaned up another 2 kills, the no-cap kill-all strategy, yes, let's call it a strategy, of the enemy team appears to be working, because there's now only 2 tanks left alive on Geek's team against 7 enemies. Okay, make that 6 enemies. However, this is the point in the battle where if I could get away with it, I'd start playing the Doom music, but I can't, so this will have to do. Five enemies. That dude really wants to kill Bert the Avenger down there, doesn't he? That's his... Well, I'm not sure he's so confident as to say that was his first mistake, but it's definitely going to be his last mistake. Next, 4 enemies. Now they're only outnumbered 2 to 1. In case you're wondering, by the way, I get all of my music royalty free from epidemicsound.com these days, and this is Love, Peace and Fuzz Pedals by Victor Olsen. Oh, would you look at that, another enemy machine who's a one-shot kill who thought, yeah, capping's for losers. Oh, Bert the Avenger went down. It's now 3 on 1. You've got to feel sorry for the 3. The 2. How much health do you have, Geek? 19. Well, you know that's 18 more than he needs. So off you go, you've got this. He's being pursued by the T-28, which isn't slow either, but it's even less accurate than he is, and he gets an exceptionally lucky shot on the move there with this gun. And now suddenly it's a one-on-one. And I believe we know where the enemy artillery is, because somebody's capping, and he's the only one left alive on the enemy team. However, you do only have 19 health left, and artillery fire and high explosive doesn't even have to hit you to kill you when you've got that little health remaining. But observe what he's doing, because he was still spotted, of course, even after the T-28 died. You still stay lit up on the minimap, so he headed in one direction, long enough to make the enemy arty think that he was trying to circle around, because he's got plenty of time, and instead takes the direct route. Did Artie fall for it? He's looking the wrong way. He fell for it. And, I mean, it does take a couple of shots, even against artillery. But that, kids, is 8 kills and nearly 3,000 damage in an extremely successful base defense in assault mode here on the Siegfried Line map for Opie Geek in the Panzer 3/4. To the great surprise of absolutely nobody ever, that is of course an ace tanker battle to go with the Radley Walters medal. Steel wall, right, in a medium tank. It wasn't even top tier. Steel wall, Confederate, because he basically spanked everybody, high caliber and Top Gun. Equally unsurprisingly, top of the team on both experience earned and damage done. And when I say top of the team on damage done, I mean more than twice, right? More than twice the damage done of the next highest scoring player on the team. Speaking of damage done, does anybody remember the Su-76M at the beginning of the battle? The one with armour so light you could penetrate it with a BB gun, who thought it was a good idea to ram a Panzer? Yeah, that guy. There he is, bottom of the team, with 10 damage done. That was his ramming damage. Now, you may be thinking, well, he is just a Tier 4 tank destroyer in a Tier 6 battle. Yes, that's true, but he's a Tier 4 tank destroyer with exceptional camouflage values and a really useful 76mm gun, which he never fired once and instead decided to ram a Panzer, in a machine with armour so thin that you could penetrate it with a sewing needle. But even though he actually did 10 more damage than the AT-2, the Stug 3 and the Su-76G fake tank combined, ramming that Panzer was an act so stupid that the game decided to punish him by giving him 4 less experience than even the Su-76G, who did no damage at all. Speaking of the Panzer that he rammed, the VK-3001D, first tank dead on the enemy team. Yep, top of the team by experience earned. By a fairly comfortable margin, actually. Not top on damage done, still 5th on damage done. And if you look at who actually scored the most damage, this raises some interesting questions. Top of the team on damage done was the Type 3, the new Japanese tank destroyer. And remember, with 1200 damage, he died very early on. The next highest on the enemy team on damage done was the T-28, the Tier 4 medium in a Tier 6 battle. The tank that can best and most charitably be described as not actually very good was the second highest damage-dealing tank on the team. Just think about that for a second. The enemy team were basically being carried by the first tank on their team to die and one of the least good Tier 4 medium tanks in the game. And they were still 10 kills up at one point. So just exactly how monumentally shit must the rest of Opie Geek's team have been to be getting so comprehensively ruffle-stomped by these clown shoes until he stepped up, strapped on his man pants and carried the team to victory. And it only cost him 20,000 credits with the premium account at tier 5. He fired a couple of rounds of gold ammo at a tier where it's supposed to be theoretically impossible to lose money with a premium account, ruffle-stomped the enemy team, broke all kinds of personal records, and he still ended up owing the game 20,000 credits. I guess the one thing we can take away from today's battle, other than, wow, well played Op-Eye Geek, congratulations on the win, is something that I've been saying about World of Tanks for years now, and that is, of course, if you can't take a joke, you shouldn't be playing this game. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.